Hey guys, and welcome to my tutorial on C++ Unreal Engine for networking. This is going to be part 2. Go look at part 1. That has some kind of important stuff in it, so go look at that before you're here. I put this tutorial on the subreddit Unreal Engine, and they gave me some good advice on what I should do, and some guy told me I say too much. And I do say too much, and I really need to work on that. So I will be working on that, and will be kind of edited out, or some might slip through, and I'm sorry, but I say and I'll try to stop. So someone said I need to go over somewhat server client and what this all means. So I'm going to kind of go through it right now to show you what's going on. So in a regular multiplayer game like Call of Duty or Halo, you have a server and clients. So another word for a server might be host. So a host is like a person that's playing the game, but they're the one that everyone's connected to, and that person has all the game important stuff. So the server is like the authority. Everything that's important goes down on the server. So like collision detection, when you're like playing Halo, when you shoot someone, the client tells the server, hey, I'm shooting, and then the server traces the raycast or whatever, or the trace to see if the bullet hit someone, and if they're dead. The server also tells like when the game is over, when the game starts, when it also controls logging in and all that stuff. So the clients are never connected to each other. They're only connected to the server. So the client always sends commands to the server like, hey, my player is moving forward, or I'm shooting. So it moves it up to the server, and then the server calculates and sees if everything is correct, and then sends everybody all the information back down to the clients. So let's say I have this character. This is kind of Unreal specific. If this character is not replicated, he will not be pushed down to the client at all. So when we hit that checkbox that I showed you last time where it says replicates, everybody now replicates down, the server replicates everything down to the clients. What's really important is you got to make sure that you're spawning all the stuff on the server, because if you spawn something on the client, it will only show up on that specific client. So what you need to do is spawn everything on the server and make sure that they're replicated, and then they'll be pushed back down to each of the clients. And I'm going over this in this tutorial, game modes and game states. So actually, hold on. Let's go back a little bit. So in the server, when you're replicating something, let's just say this character, since he's on the server, he is the master, and these are his like replicants. Yeah. So these guys are just replicated from the master. So the master holds all the correct information, and he's just pushing it down to the clients and updating these guys. So that's what that explains it a little better. So on the server in Unreal Engine 4, it has the game mode, and the clients, they do not have the game mode. The game mode is in charge of logging people in, logging people out, starting the match, saying, oh, does this match have a delayed start, and stuff like that, and also giving the players their controllers, and then spawning default pawns. It's in charge of like really important stuff, but it's not replicated to the clients. So where do we put all important game variable functions? Well, we put it on the game state. And so this is the master game state, and these are the replicant game states that get, or replicant, whatever. So these are just replicas, and this is the master one. So the master just pushes its most current information down to these clients and updates it. So on the game state, we put our important variables like in team deathmatch, how many kills does one team have, or in capture the flag, like how many captures one team has, or whatever. So that's kind of what we're going over today in this tutorial. So what I'm going to do in this tutorial is I'm going to spawn 2 collectible items and I'm just going to call them flags because I accidentally called them flags when I was creating this tutorial. But yeah, they're collectible items, and the character's going to bump into them. They're going to add the score. They're going to put like 5 points on a variable in the game state, and then the collectible is going to destroy itself. And that's it. That's just a really simple thing, but it's really important. So let's get started. I'm going to go File, Add Code to Project, Actor. This is going to be our collectible item. I'm just going to call it flag because I accidentally did that when I was creating this tutorial, and I already created the code for it, and I just don't want to I don't want to rewrite code. So I just call it flag. Because I was going to make a capture the flag thing, but it turned into a collectible item. So we're going to wait for the code to compile. There we go. And here it is. I'm just going to hurry and boop, like that. Actually, I like it this way. I'm just going to get rid of all this stuff because I don't need it, and I'm going to copy that in, all the stuff I want in. Okay, I'm going to grab the code that I created, and then I'll just go over it piece by piece. Alright, what's going down? We have this flag constructor. If you're new to C++, go look up a C++ tutorial, and then people who know constructors, you know what's going on. So this is just a constructor. Actually, we don't need this. This is our sphere component for collision. So the use sphere component will just make a sphere around our object, and that's where we detect collision and stuff like that. This is our on overlap begin. You need to put a U function before it. This is where we handle our function. This is where we handle our collision detection. I'm going to slowly go through this so you guys can pause if you want to. I'm going to put a get of this so you guys can access this code, this tutorial code. And then we have our server function that we're going to update the score. So this is going to this is a reliable server with validation. It's your function. Our void update score. I have an int32 amount as my argument, and then this is the implementation and validation. You should have learned that in the last tutorial. Excuse me. And then I'm going to grab all the rest of this code. Actually, I'm going to need to grab this. Okay. First, what we need to do is include engine, and we need to include our game mode. Our game mode, if you go look over at your source, this is it. Mine's from to game mode. You need to include that. We'll need that later. Okay, so what's going on in this constructor? So we're taking our collision component, which is our sphere collision component, and we're creating it. Object initializer.create default sub object. It's a use sphere component. Sorry, I need to save. It's a use sphere component, and then this, and then I just called it sphere component. I give it an initial sphere radius of 60, and the root component, and then I create the sphere component. I assign the root component is now the sphere component. Sorry, I need a drink. Alright, on to the next part. Hurry and just grab this. Oops. Okay, this is where we handle our collision. It's the on overlap begin. So, what's this right here? So, on this is only going to happen on the server. Why? I'm asking what role I am, and do I equal this role authority? Like I told in that little picture that I made, that's not very great. Role authority, I said the server is the authority. So I'm asking if I'm the server. And if I'm the server, do this. Simple enough. Okay, gonna grab this part. I'm gonna comment out some stuff because it'll break So I'll just comment this out right now. So I'm asking to update the score, and then I'm going to destroy it myself. On the update score, I need to get the game mode, because in the game mode, that handles very game important stuff. I just want the game mode to update the score, because the game mode is only allowed on the server, and I want the server to be the authority and make sure things are happening correctly in the game. So we're going to go over to our game mode now. So in our game mode, we're going to need a function to add score to our game state. So I'm going to grab our old code, my code that I just already wrote, and then I will explain it. Alright, function to add score. We just have a simple function, add score in 32, and the amount is my argument. I'm going to hurry and grab my add score. I just need to put a 2 in here. Right, sweet. And then I need to comment this out. So, this is only happening on the server because the game mode is only on the server. We understand that hopefully correctly. So we're just going to add the score, but we need to get the game state and put a replicated variable in there. So we need to go back to Unreal. We need to go File, Add New Code to Project, and we need to scroll down, and we're getting a game state. Grabbing the game state, I'm just going to call it my game state, and then C++ is going to compile the code that we just wrote. Hopefully it doesn't yell at me. Give it a second. There we go. Sweet, done. Alright, so now we have our game state in here. I'm going to drag this over here so that it looks all nice and pretty. Oh, hold on. Let me see if I had to... I needed to copy some other stuff into my game mode thingy. Again, we need to include our game state in here because we're going to need access to that, and then engine because I want to do an add-on screen debug message. So we're going to go jump over to game state, and this is a really important part I want you to pay attention to. This I'm about to show you how to replicate variables. This is pretty duper important in networking games. So I have this function, not this function, I have this variable in 32 score, and then I have uProperty replicated. That's how we are going to replicate it, but we have to do something over here in C++, in our CPP file, C++ file. So I'm going to hurry and go grab that, and then I will copy it over. I just do this for the sake of I don't want to type this all out. Okay, sweet. So, what's going on here? So I need to include engine because include net/unreal network.h needs this to compile. If you only put this one in and not this one in before, it will not compile and it will not be fun. Oh, I need to call this. What? Why is this yelling? Well, anyway, this function you get from Unreal Network, and this is where you replicate, get lifetime replicated props. So that's how you do it. And then so you do the super, and then you do rep lifetime my game state, that's what we're in, and then score. So now this is going to replicate. Hold on, I need to put this in a public, because I know I'll need that later. And boom, bam. So that's how you make replicated variables. It's easy. Just make sure you can include all this and then that before your variable. Let's compile this just to make sure it works because it won't explode. Do 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 do. Another good window to have out is your output log, just to make sure. Sweet. All right. So that's just, I don't know why that yells at me. I hate Visual Studio and Unreal Engine 4. They don't like mesh together at all. Seem like they just. Well, anyway, so we're going to go back to our game mode. So now we can do this. So get GameState. Get GameState is a function you get inherited from game mode. It's really nice when you just get your GameState and then you ask for, so you're wanting your type of game mode, my GameState. We're getting that, and then we're getting our score, and then we're just adding to the score. And then I'm just putting a message just saying, just displaying the score. And then I'm going, let's make sure. Oh, we're getting our game mode here. Back at our collectible slash, I called it flag. So what I'm doing here is I'm making a variable, a pointer variable to the game mode. And then I'm casting, sorry, my fault. So I'm pointer variable, cast to my tutorial 2 game mode, and then I'm getting get world, and then get authentic game mode. So this is just going to return just a regular game mode. See if you can see over there, like right there, it says game mode. I'm just casting it into my game mode so I can get access to that function add score. Okay, let's run through this all over again. So I'm creating a collision component. I'm checking for collision on the server. I'm updating my score. So that means I come down here, I get the game mode and cast it over, and then with the game mode, I add score. So I go over to the game mode. The add score, get the game state, and add the score, so plus the amount, and then I display it on screen. That's it. And then I go back here, and then I destroy myself. Done. Sweet. Got it. Okay, we need to go back to Unreal. Going to compile. While that's doing that, we need to create a blueprint for our collectible item that I called flag. So we need to come over here. I called it flag. So we grab flag, hit select. I'm going to call it my coal, because collectible, whatever. So this is our sphere component that was created in our code. So I'm just going to add a little visual for us. I'm going to go down here. And come up here, add component, static mesh. I'm not going to rename it anything. And then I'm going to go over here and just pick something. A rock. Or did I not hit it? Oh, my mouse is being weird. Oh, okay, there's the rock. I'm going to scale that down. Because you know I like collecting rocks. And then we're going to come down here, and collisions on our static mesh, we just want no collision. I don't care. But the collision is going to happen with this. So, and then we want to make sure that it doesn't generate overlap events, because we don't care. The only overlap event we care about is the one that's handled by this sphere. So we're going to compile that, save that, come back here, I'm going to drop just 2, and then number of players, this is how you check. So number of players 2, and I'm going to hit play. So this is the client, goes over, and it doesn't work. I had this working before. Why isn't this working? Alright. I will be back to see if this works. I had it working. Okay, sorry about that. I figured it out. Alright. So we're going to start by adding our class. So I delete, if you had that class, if you made that blueprint before, just delete it. Actually, no, wait. Before you do that, you need to add this line of code. You need to, with the collision component, you need to add component begin overlap dot, add dynamic, and then reference a flag on overlap begin, which adds it's a delegate to, or delegate like, to our on overlap begin. Also, which would be nice if you would put b replicates equals true. This makes sure that our object is always replicated. So we're going to, nope, this is the wrong one, sorry, this is this. I'm going to close that. So, okay. So we're going to compile our code, and it's going to work for sure. Yep, it's going to work. But what we need to do is we need to create a blueprint for our game mode. It makes our life easier. So our game mode is, mine is TUT2 game mode. The game mode is, remember, it's this thing right here. It's this. It's this class that was created when we started the project. So I'm going to rename it my game mode. And then we need to also create a blueprint for our game state. So my game state. And I'll call it my game state. Sweet. All right. So we need to go over here our class defaults, make sure that's clicked. And that's correct, that's correct. That's correct. We just need to change our game state to, actually, let's change this to something that doesn't mess with us. I'm just going to rename this to my game state under blue. So I know it's the blueprint and not the class. And then game state blue. Just makes our life a little bit easier. And then we need to go to settings, project settings, maps and modes, and just change it over to my game mode. So we don't have to go in here and click to change all this stuff every single time. We can just go over to our game mode, double click, go to our defaults, and boom, bam, we can just change it right there. That's really easy for me, that's how I like to do it. So now we need to create that blueprint for a collectible that I called flag. I'm just going to call it my call underscore blue, just to make sure that we know that's the blueprint. So I'm going to go over here, add component, and I'm going to add, let's just do a cube. Sometimes I've run into this problem here in 4.7.2. All you have to do is just come down and like change something and it'll pop back up. But, yeah, or maybe that's just why it doesn't like it. So unclick generate, under collision, generate overlap events, just unclick that, and then we're going to go for no collision, and then I'm just going to scale this down to fit in our box, good enough, in our sphere, and then I'm going to make sure that the class defaults that replicates is on, because we really need that, and our code did that for us. And so I'm gonna put these down in our level. Whoops, not that. Shit. I just messed up. Alright. So yeah, we're going to start up the game. And now when we hit it, oh, why didn't it? So they go away, but our game state didn't update with our, going through so many problems with this tutorial. I thought writing this code out earlier would have been easier, but it did. They went away, they destroyed themselves, but they didn't. Yeah, I'm stupid. Let's put this where this belongs. Let's update the score before we destroy ourselves. I'm sorry about that, that's dumb of me. Oh my goodness. That was dumb. Now this will work. all the code will be correct when I put it on a Git. I'll probably put it on my GitHub and you guys can come. It'll be down in the description below. Alright, this is going to work for sure. Boop, boop, done. Works. Hooray. Yay. Okay, I'm sorry about this tutorial. So, thanks for watching. There'll be more tutorials to come. I'm a full-time student, so this is kind of hard to do school and these tutorials because I'm also working on a game in Unreal Engine for one of my classes. It's alternative game dev, and I'm programming a game for one of my classes. So I'll put tutorials on when I can. So thank you for watching. I'm sorry for this fiasco. I will edit it so it's all nice. Alright, bye.